Good Shabbos. In 1990, there was a surprise talk by the Rebbe. He just got intelligence telling him that PLO is planning an attack on Israel, and for everyone to say 3 chapters of Tehillim, and one of the 3, he didn't say which all 3 should be. You could say any 3 chapters, but one of them should be chapter 150. Now, if you read chapter 150, it's very different to many other chapters, which talks about Hashem saving us from harm and from trouble and from people trying to get us and kill us, such as 20 or 121 or 130 or 83 or 69, 22. There's so many chapters that really relate to the situation we're in, but those are not the chapters that Rebbe suggested. The Rebbe suggested only 150 should be one of them. And if you read 150, it's all about praise of Hashem, and it concludes with Kol HaNeshama Ta'alu Yuka, that every soul should praise Hashem. The Talmud says that for every breath we take, we have to thank Hashem. In addition, there is, in the 1980s, the Rebbe said that we should add 2 verses to our prayers, one at the beginning of the prayer and one at the end. The beginning of prayer we should say, I accept upon myself the positive command of loving my fellow Jew as myself. And at the end of the prayer we should say, Ach tzadikim yoidu l'shmecha yeshu shalom tzparecha, that the righteous praise your name. So what is the connection between that and safeguarding from terrorism? It's something difficult to understand, but I saw 2 events the last couple of weeks that really express the explanation for this in a most amazing way. First of all, Ori Megadesh is the Israeli soldier that was redeemed or released, or not released, but found by the Israeli army and brought back home. And there was a video going around of her mother, I don't know if it was the night before or a few days before, doing the mitzvah of Afreshas Challah, separating Challah, and doing a prayer at that time. And she's making this prayer to Hashem that He should save all the soldiers and save her and the captives and save her own daughter. It's a very emotional prayer, and it's quite heart-wrenching to watch it. And one of the things she says, just out of her own gut, is, God, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Ohavet Otcha, I love you. I love you, Hashem. And it's, wow, how is a woman who's such a believer and sees that her daughter is missing, his daughter is captured by Hamas in the territories, she's able to get up and say, I love you, Hashem. Quite a remarkable thing. And of course, a few days later, her daughter is released. Interesting. Then I saw a story, a most remarkable story, about a woman in Be'eri, that terrible, the kibbutz, which terrible murder took place, butchery, unbelievable. So there's this one woman who's an elderly woman, 75 years old. She says her parents came there, I think in 1953 when she was 13, or something like that. And the night before this Simchas Torah, they celebrated 77 years of the kibbutz. And she relates, she's totally non-religious, but she's sitting there with a picture of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, a large picture, right, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, right near her, being interviewed on Israeli TV. And they ask her, are you a religious woman? She says, no, I'm not. My daughter is a Baal Shuvah. My daughter has come back to Judaism, and I believe her and her husband are shluchim in Germany, and they have 3 kids, and they come and they teach me things about Judaism. They say, this is Sheikh the Lulav. I don't know what to do. Well, repeat after us and do it this way. And they teach me ideas. On the morning of Simchas Torah, I take my blanket and half a water bottle and go into the safe room. And as I'm in the safe room, I all of a sudden see that I'm getting, on my phone, I'm getting messages from the kibbutz that there are terrorists in the kibbutz. And so I sit there in the safe room and I say to myself, I say the following: Hashem, thank you for saving me. Thank you for saving me. And then she says, Lubavitcher Rebbe and Chassidim, thank you for praying for me. Thank you. I know you're praying for me. Thank you for praying for me. Thank you, Hashem, for saving me. And that's what she says as a mantra the entire time. She finds some biscuits there, she finds another half a bottle of water, and she finds a chitas, which is a Chumash Tehillim and Tanya in one book, and she puts it near her heart, and with a picture of the Rebbe, and she says, hey, you have to pray for me, you have to protect me now. And you are going to. And thank you, Hashem, for protecting me. Thank you, Hashem, for saving me. Thank you Again, Rebbe and Chassidim for praying for me. She messages her son, who's about 15 minutes away. He says, I'm coming to get you, and he never shows up. She starts to think negative thoughts, but then she snaps out of it, thinking, no, everything's good. Hashem is certainly going to protect me and save me. She's in this room. The terrorists come into her house. They can't get through the door. She heard about the tunnels, a locksmith came and changed her lock to the safe room. And so they're in her house, but they're shooting at the door, but they can't open it. And then she's sitting there saying the same thing. She's there for 48 hours. The Israeli army comes, and they're having a firefight with the terrorists. Her phone, in the meantime, dies. She can't message anyone about anything. The terrorists tried to go through the window, but they're not able to do anything through the window either. The soldiers trying to get the terrorists that are holed up in her house actually bring a bulldozer and kind of break down the house. As that's happening, there's actually a crack in the door, but the terrorists don't realize and don't notice it. So she's saved from that again. After 48 hours, she can't get through the door now, so she goes through the window. She steps on a chair, 75-year-old elderly woman sit on an old sewing machine, and jumps out the window onto the floor. She thought she would land on something soft, but she landed on residue of a broken home, cement and concrete, etc. And she cuts herself badly, but she walks on the blanket that she has. She walks slowly until she finds a scooter with a key in it. She goes into the scooter and is able to drive to the entry of the kibbutz. That's where she finds her son. Her son came, but the army didn't let him go in. And then that's how she got saved. So once again, we see how this positivity that this woman showed was kind of saved her life. So the positive thinking saved her life. We had a psychologist come speak for people from the Israelis who live in our community. And she said one of the things coping mechanisms to deal with the trauma is to find 3 things every day that you're grateful for. 3 things every day. So I thought amazing. We wake up in the morning, we say Moida Ani, thank you Hashem for giving me back my soul. We start the actual Shacharis prayer with Haidul Hashem Kitov. With the word with Haidu. And then we have in the Amidan, the Shemon Esrei, we come to almost to the conclusion of it, and we say Moida Manachnu Lach. Thank you, Hashem. So we're thanking Hashem again and again in our prayers, 3 times primarily, but more than that. And so that is in order. When we are positive and we think positively, we see again and again how this actually causes positive things to happen to us. So even as this terrible time is upon us, and it seems harsh, and there's the ground invasion, and we're losing soldiers, we have to keep a positive attitude, a positive mind, and be grateful and thankful to Hashem, because that is the key for us to have a tremendous nitzach and a tremendous victory. We will be victorious. And I'll conclude with the following episode. Elie Wiesel was speaking, he went around the United States speaking, and a woman comes up to him and says, "You were in Buchenwald. My father was in Buchenwald too. Do you know him? His name is XYZ. So he says, "Do I know him? Do I know him? He saved my life. I came one day back to the barracks, and I wanted to end my life, and I actually got my hands on some poison, and I was planning to take it and just finish with it. I couldn't handle this situation anymore. And as I'm going into the barrack, your father is there. And you know what he was doing? He was doing what he always did. He was singing. He had a beautiful voice, and he would sing positive songs. And I said to him, how could you sing in this hellhole? And he said to me, Elie, they've taken everything from me. One thing they can't take from me is my song. And his song gave me a positive boost, and I therefore changed my attitude, and I did not take that poison, and I survived the war, and I'm here today only because of your father's song. So this is the key for Am Yisrael now. Positive thinking, thanking Hashem. Chapter 150, Ach Tzadikim Yoidu L'Shmecha, praising Hashem. This is a key for our well-being and for the soldiers. One of the main keys for us thinking positively for the sake of our soldiers, for the sake of the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael. Good Shabbos.